Hi, I'm Jana Chan, a longtime resident of Montgomery County who, with many others, has been advocating against child sexual abuse at Covenant Life Church on Muncaster Mill Road in Gaithersburg. The church has been subject to a major class action lawsuit that was recently dismissed entirely due to technicalities. It's almost certainly the subject of criminal investigations, and it has recently been the subject of a major criminal conviction of a pedophile that attended the church for a long time, which demonstrated that this church knew the pedophile confessed to several pastors and other people that he was molesting kids, and the church did not turn him in. They just let him keep wandering around the community as a child molester looking for victims because they were afraid of lawsuits or losing their jobs or who knows what. And they broke the law in doing so, of course. In addition, let me put this out here before I continue, that this church made the argument during the lawsuit that it stands by that the First Amendment gives clergy the right to cover up sexual abuse. Let me repeat that. This church is saying on one hand that it has robust child protection policies, you should take your kid over there for homework time, it's got youth group, but the legal argument it has made pertaining to the lawsuit is that the First Amendment gives clergy the right to tell people that it's wrong to call the police if your child is sexually abused. I'm not making that up. Okay, so if you Google Covenant Life Church, the first couple things that come up do pertain to a criminal conviction pertaining to a guy named Nathaniel Morales. And in this article, this is the guy who was convicted about a year ago. Sorry about that. Multiple counts of molesting kids, and he was not just a random pedophile who was a member of the church. He actually used his position as a church leader to get kids to come over for sleepovers, just getting to know them generally, what advocates against sexual abuse would call a grooming process. The church was perfectly aware of that, and my proof of that is as follows. I'm going to go to the site of a longtime advocate against sexual abuse named Brent Detweiler. And what we can see here is Sovereign Grace Ministries, that was the parent entity of this church, admit not reporting abuse. And if you go here to these articles, you'll see that the pastors of the church have acknowledged that Mr. Morales told them he was a pedophile, and they chose not to report that to the police. So again, if you go to BrentDetweiler.com, and if you go to lawsuit resources and SGM pastors admit not reporting alleged abuse, you'll see that they knew this guy was a pedophile and did not report him to the police or do anything to protect children. And they also, if you look more at the site, you'll see articles about how the victims also told them that they were being molested, and the church still chose to shove this under the carpet. Another great resource for learning more about why Covenant Life Church is a menace to the community is, again, on Brent Detweiler's site, BrentDetweiler.com, and these are the class action lawsuit documents. And this second amended complaint alleges more than 140 counts of child sexual abuse that span decades, and please be aware that some of the material in this complaint is extremely disturbing. It details perverse acts, including the gang rape, ritualized gang rape of a child that was allegedly covered up. I'm saying alleged, but the truth is there's a tremendous amount of evidence that all of these claims are true. The greatest being that none of the defendants have denied it. I repeat that. None of these pastors, none of these people claiming to be pillars of the community have seriously, formally denied any of the allegations in this lawsuit. They simply relied on technicalities like the First Amendment gives us the right to cover up sexual abuse. The statute of limitations has expired, and other things. They have not come forward and said, of course we didn't cover up the gang rape of a child. No, not at all. They're just saying, did it, but should get away with it, essentially, in my opinion. Okay. So, oh, yes, and further proof would be this wonderful article by the lead pastor of Covenant Life Church, who appears to be fleeing to Canada for seminary, as opposed to just leaving because he may be afraid of being criminally charged for his actions, in my opinion, named Joshua Harris, who has very calmly and enthusiastically acknowledged that he covered up child sexual abuse and is not sorry about it and doesn't think there was really any reason why he shouldn't have done it. So this is the article. If you go to thewashingtonpost.com and put in Joshua Harris, you'll find it. And I did really want to look a little more carefully at this resource because it's unbelievable to me. Okay, he talks about how his upbringing as a homeschooler ruined his life and didn't prepare him to address sexual abuse in his 30s, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. In an interview, Harris said the isolation of Covenant Life and of a small cluster of churches of which it was a part may have fed leadership mistakes, including the decision of pastors, himself among them, to handle a child sexual abuse case internally instead of going to police. This guy is actually saying that it is legitimate to handle a major crime like child sexual abuse, quote unquote, internally instead of going to the police. So, couple of problems with this. That logic makes little sense, as I indicate here in the comments sections below, because a church really doesn't have the right to handle a major crime internally, like child sexual abuse, any more than it would have the right to handle, say, a crime like murder internally. So, it's really hard to know what to say from there, but it shows you the kind of entitlement that this church has. Mr. Harris, and he's only admitted this after the sworn testimony on the part of his pastors pertaining to the pedophile Morales that we looked at earlier, saying that the pastors in 2007 all got together and agreed to obstruct justice by not reporting Morales to the police and just letting him wander around in his life and continue to molest other people. Again, this is someone, Morales, who confessed he was a pedophile. They had lots of victims at the church tell them that. And again, just let him wander around. And Mr. Harris is claiming that this should have been handled as a spiritual matter. So, if you go over to the church and you're murdered, you have to be open to the idea that Mr. Harris and other people will say that that crime should be handled as an internal matter, not call the police and throw you back in the under the carpet or bury you in the backyard or whatever else it is they do. So, to me, you can see, I think, how absolutely nutty Covenant Life Church is and irresponsible about handling child sexual abuse. You're welcome to go back to BrentDetweiler.com, do a Google search, look at some other things, but I hope this video has caused you to consider whether or not, if you're in Montgomery County, or anywhere for that matter, you really want to attend this church at all, or put your children in their child homework program. So, this is Janet Chan, resident of Montgomery County, and an advocate against child sexual abuse at Covenant Life Church. Signing out. Thanks so much for watching this video.